In the standard pharmaceutical life cycle, a drug's profitability has a strict expiration date. Once a chemical drug's patent runs out, competitors easily reverse engineer the recipe, flood the market with generic copies, and crash the price. But sometimes, simply having a recipe isn't enough to cook the meal. If a drug's manufacturing process is incredibly complex, knowing the ingredients doesn't automatically allow you to copy the final product. This is the operational anomaly of Concord Biotech. They focus on manufacturing life-saving immunosuppressants, critical drugs given to organ transplant patients to prevent rejection. And these medicines aren't mixed from synthetic chemicals in a lab. They are derived directly from natural fungi and bacteria. This side-by-side comparison shows the difference. On the left, standard drugs rely on static, linear chemical synthesis. On the right, Concord uses complex microbial fermentation. Instead of mixing powders, they grow living, multiplying organisms to produce highly complex biological molecules. Because Concord uses proprietary microorganism strains developed and optimized over decades, these biological trade secrets cannot be downloaded from a public database. Any new competitor attempting to start from scratch faces an 8 to 15-year timeline just to replicate the production strains and optimize the scale. For Concord, the manufacturing process is the product. This dynamic replaces the vulnerability of a typical patent cliff with an impenetrable structural oligopoly. Inside massive bioreactors, microscopic bugs are cultivated in a highly controlled environment. They feed, multiply, and naturally brew these complex organic molecules. The output of this fermentation process is an active pharmaceutical ingredient, or API. You can think of this as a highly specialized magic powder. It is the essential core ingredient that actually makes a medicine work. This map traces Concord's first revenue pillar. They package this bulk API powder in India and export it to major pharmaceutical companies across more than 70 international markets, companies that lack the capability to produce the active ingredient themselves. Globally, only 5 to 8 manufacturers can reliably produce these specific fermentation APIs to strict FDA standards. That scarcity guarantees Concord a locked-in, recurring customer base. Selling raw ingredients generates steady revenue, but Concord recognized that stopping there leaves money on the table when you already have the facilities to sell the finished product. This flowchart maps their strategy of forward integration. Starting with raw API, Concord processes it through in-house formulation to manufacture finished pills, capsules, and injectables. Bypassing middlemen allows Concord to capture significantly higher profit margins by selling finished treatments directly to hospitals and doctors. This leads to their third revenue pillar, serving as a contract development and manufacturing organization, or CDMO. Other pharmaceutical companies effectively rent Concord's specialized scientists and massive fermentation vats. They use Concord's expertise to invent, test, and scale up their own complex drug recipes. Through this three-pillar model, Concord has built an engine that monetizes every single stage of a drug's life cycle, moving from initial biological research all the way to the final patient dose. In the Indian pharmaceutical landscape, Concord occupies a unique position. While some companies produce fermentation APIs and others manufacture injectables, Concord is the only player that does both in-house. Controlling the entire process from the initial microbe to the final syringe acts as a shield. It fully protects their supply chain and quality control from external market shocks or third-party failures. The cash flow generated from this airtight model is now funding their next expansion. Concord is moving beyond standard fermentation into semi-synthetic autoimmune therapies, like tofacitinib, to capture new market share in the United States. They are also making a leap into advanced biological treatments. Through investments in subsidiaries like Cellimmune, they are developing CAR T-cell therapies, where a patient's own immune cells are engineered to aggressively target and destroy cancer. Concord Biotech has built a moat around a biological process so delicate and time-consuming that it makes competition functionally impossible, proving that in the modern pharmaceutical landscape, technical mastery can be more protective than any legal patent.